Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, The Automation Hub. So guys, today we are going to discuss about data tables in Cucumber. So this is a part 3. I already complete two parts, part 1 and part 2. As you can see here, one second. Okay, in this, yeah, see, this is my channel, and when you see here, this one, the last tutorial I created for part 2, where we discussed about scenario outline and cucumber option, and the first part was we discussed about the architecture of the cucumber BDD framework, where why we use feature file, step definition file, and the test runner class. So these all basic and how to write the script we discussed in the part 1, and the second tutorial we discussed the data driven testing in cucumber BDD framework using Selenium, right? In this I discussed about the scenario and scenario outline, what is the difference between scenario and what is the difference between scenario outline, and I also covered the cucumber option part, the one we used in the test runner class, right? So I already created two tutorial. Now if you are new, first just go through in these two tutorial if you want to learn the cucumber, so in that way you can understand better way, right? Then move to this tutorial, right? So yeah, so today we are going to discuss about data table. So guys, we to achieve data driven testing, we use scenario and scenario outline, right? As I discussed before in the last tutorial. So if you want to achieve data driven testing without scenario outline, like without using example keyword, so how we are going to achieve that, right? So today I'm going to discuss about this. Basically, we are not going to use any example keyword, we are not going to use any scenario outline, but we want to achieve data driven testing, right? We want to give the our input value inside the feature file, and we want that value in the step definition, so we can enter that value, right? So how we are going to achieve? So for this guys, we have two options. First thing is data tables we have, and second is we have hash map. So I will discuss this later, map part, map table, right? But today we are going to use data table, right? So let's start. So as you can see in my screen, I just mentioned the basic syntax for the creating the data table, right? How we create the object of data table, then how we are going to fetch the data, right? So guys, we need to use draw method. This draw will return the list of string value, right? And we are going to store inside this data, right? So we are going to store this, then we want to fetch the data from feature file using this data variable, right? So I will show you one example, in that way you can understand better way, right? So first of all, we need to change the feature file, then we are going to update the step definition, right? And first thing, what we are not going to use any scenario outline, we are only going to use scenario. We were going to use scenario, we are going to mention scenario but not scenario outline. Also we are not going to use examples keywords to provide the input data, we are not going to anything use, we are going to use just pi and then the input data, right? So let's first I will show you, then you will understand better, right? So in the last tutorial guys, I created this feature file. So here I use scenario outline, right, as you know, and we give the data like this. This is the step third, and we want to enter username and email. At the end we are going to declare examples keyword, and we are going to use name, column name as the same name you used in the statement, right? So in that way compiler will know like this data we want to enter for this, like test user 1 will be username and the email will be test at 153, right? So this is the example for scenario outline, right? But if you want to achieve the data driven testing without scenario outline, so how you are going to achieve? So let's create one feature file here. So I'm going to create one feature file. Okay. So here I'm going to create login data table dot feature, right? I just mentioned this name for the understanding purpose, right? Just you can give any name you want as per your preference, right? So you can give the feature file name, then add the extension dot feature, right? Then click on finish. So here we created one feature file, right? I want to copy this steps. These all steps I want to copy, so we don't need to write again, right? So I'm going to copy here, then here. So right, so as you can see, in the previous tutorial I explained scenario outline, right? But today we are not going to discuss about scenario outline. This is not part of this tutorial, right? So we are going to use data driven testing. We are going to achieve data driven testing without scenario outline. So just remove the outline part, and as you can see, scenario is demo QA element functionality. We are going to check the element functionality for this, right? Feature file, you can give the name as it is, there is no problem, and you can change as per your condition, right? There is nothing need to change, right? Then the first step is user is on main page, right? The user is on main page. Then when user enters username and email, right, and click on submit button, I will use then click on submit. So see, first user is already on main page, then user will enter some username and input email address, then user click on submit button. Okay, so these three steps we want to perform, right? I want to perform these three steps. So this website, I am going to give demo about this website as I mentioned in the last tutorial, right? So one second. So here, just okay guys. So here what we need to do, we want to just launch this page. Then I want to enter the full name here, then the email ID, then I want to click on submit, right? Only these three steps I want to perform using data driven testing. I want to give the data inside the feature file without using scenario outline, right? So this is the way. First we need to click on this, enter the full name, then enter the email address, then we need to click on submit. These three tasks I want to perform, then you will understand why we are going. So guys, in the last tutorial, the feature file was scenario outline, right? So in that, okay, one thing, let's move to here. Okay, so in this I am going to remove this example keyword because we are not going to use scenario outline, so we are not going to use example keyword, right? What you need to do, guys, here, if you are not using a scenario outline, you need to give the data like this. Like I want to user enter username, so I am entering username as a abcd@gmail.com, right? Like I give the username like this. Username is Mike John, right? Mike Lee, like this. I mentioned username here, and the email address is abcd@gmail.com. These two data I want to give. I want to give this one and this one, this data. So how we are going to write the step? Simple. There is no need to mention like this. Just you can give the English statement. Simple. Just when user enter full name and email address. There is no need to mention like this using regular expression. Just simple use full name and email, right? When user enters full name and email, then user click on submit button, right? So what happened here? This is the pattern. This is the syntax how we write data without using scenario outline, right? So as you can see, I didn't mention any regular expression here, nothing. just I mention the English statement, first statement, then I want to give this data. So when you mention like this using py and nothing you are going to use like example keyword or nothing, so simple, what we compiler will consider this data belong to this line only, right? Whenever you are going to mention like this any data using py, the above line is the one where data will belong, right? Because in the next line you need to mention the data. You are not going to write here nothing, this will not work. You need to give the data exact in the next line, right? So I want to enter full name and an email address, so I gave the data like Mike Lee and abcd@gmail.com. This data I want to give for this line, right? So this line belong to this data only. And if you want to enter another thing, you need to type the sentence first, then give the data using py. Simple. We need to use py and just give the data like this, whatever data you want to enter in the page, right? And then simple save. So guys, our step feature file is done, right? Because I am not using scenario outline, I just used py and I am giving the data like this. And we need to mention the sentence like this, the statement line. This will be the normal English syntax format. There is nothing you need to add like the regular expression like the double dot or double quotes or bracket. Nothing you need to mention, just mention the sentence and then give the data using py. So this is the format to write the feature file without using scenario outline, right? So our feature file part is done, right? I just saved right here. Then what we need to do, you need to create the step definition, right? So I'm going to create step definition here for the same feature file, right? So what is the feature file name? Okay, so we have login data, login data table step definition. Simple, you need to give the name, the feature file name, then add step definition as it is. Nothing you need to select here, just click on finish. So we are going to create the step definition for this feature file, login data table, right? So what we need to do, I am going to copy the steps from this file. Simple, I am going to copy from here. So there is no need to write all the things, just copy from here and just paste it here. See, I am going to close this. Okay, so what I did, I did copy the steps because we use the same feature file steps, right? Previous feature file. So I did copy the same step definition steps. So see, first line is, what is the first line? User is one second. Okay, user is on main page. Okay, so user is on main page. So here I did added the step definition for this step, given given annotation, then simple, the format will be double quote, then upper arrow, and then give the line here, then use the dollar, then double quotes, close the double quote, right? Then you need to create the method. So you can give any name as per your preference. I just gave, for understanding purpose, I gave the same as it is, only I use the underscore, so there will be no error, and we give the name. So here, right, this step we created a step definition here. Then what we are going to do, we are going to first declare the system property where we are storing the driver, web driver, right? Like I'm going to use MS Edge driver browser ms edge driver, right? So using system.set property, we declare the location of the driver, right? So here, as you can see, the property is here, webdriver dot edge dot driver, and the path is where the driver is stored is here, right? So I did mention this path. After that, what we need to do, simple initialize the driver. So I already declare here webdriver driver. So using this variable, I'm going to create the object of this driver, right? Edge driver. Simple driver equal to new edge driver, right? Then I'm going to use the object, WebDriver object here. I'm going to use this. Then simple, first thing what we need to do, simple, we need to maximize our window. So I'm using driver.manage.window.maximize, right? After that, what we are going to do, I did added some implicitly wait here. So I did added 10-second implicitly wait. So once we launch the driver browser, then when the application open, this will take 10 seconds, so all the elements will load properly, right? So that's why I added implicitly wait. Then what we are going to do, we are going to launch the website, right? So I'm using the same link here, right? I just need to copy and paste it here. So I did the same link we are going to launch here, right? So once you will launch, the website will open, right? Then move to the next step. What is the next step? When user enters full name and email, and the data will be this. So instead of full name, we need to mention Mike Lee, and instead of email, we need to mention ABCD, right? So this data we need to give for this line. So let's move to here. I am using here when annotation, right? When keyword. So simple, here you can see when I added, and here I am using regular expression for the data we want to perform. But right now we are not going to use scenario outline, so simple remove this and add the statement like as it is. I am going to use the statement, right? Simple copy, then paste it here. So what will happen, right? I did copy, I pasted here, right? Then what we need to do, what will be the step? We need to create the method, right? So method name I gave here. Then what we need to do, simple, just remove this parameter. I'm going to remove this value, right? And pass the data table and dt. I am giving the parameter name as a dt, and just import data table from Cucumber API. I am going to import this C. So here okay. So what happened, I did declare data table, right? Going to do, we are going to first remove this code because I don't want to use this, or I just Control Z. I want to use this but not the proper whole code. So simple, just here what you need to do, okay. So simple, what we need to do, dt, the parameter name we are going to use this, then dot raw. We are going to use raw method, raw, RAW. This method we are going to use, and see, when we are going to use this method, this will return a list of string, right? So same we need to mention here. Simple method I am going to use, semicolon. What will this return? List of string. So just store inside the list of string, list of string, right? This will be the return type for data table, right? And we need to give the variable name here as a data. I'm giving here data like this, and just import the list from Java util C. So we initialize our data table object here, variable here, and we are storing inside the list of string, and the name is data. In this data we are storing all the value, input value, right? Then how we are going to use? Simple. First you need to inspect this element, full name. So simple inspect, right click and see id is there, simple copy this and paste it here. So as we also used previously, so see here I already mentioned username. What is the element name is username, id is username, and the past email address is user email, right? Okay, I want to give these two data also. Okay, so for the inspect, okay, I want to give current address. Okay, simple, just add one line in the feature file also, so there the understanding will be good. Okay, when user enter full name and email, then and user enter enters enter what we are going to enter current address, right? We are going to enter current address, right? Okay, current and permanent these two address we want to enter, right? So let's see, I did created this line. Okay, we want to enter parameter address also. I want to fill this field or this field, then I want to click on this. So simple, we going to miss, we need to provide the data, right? So how we are going to provide? Simple, use pi, then the current address and the permanent address, right? So current address I will mention like 23 Main Street, right? Like this I mentioned here. And what is the permanent address is lane 1 block 2. Like this I just entered random value. I want to enter this data, right? So I use here user enter current and permanent address, right? So the current address will be this one and the permanent address will be this one, right? See, so I created two steps also. So now we are going to create for this also. So simple copy paste. First of all, what will happen? See, first we need to enter full name, username and email address, right? So just remove this part only. See, I am going to remove this part only. So firstly user will enter first name, right? So send keys, here I am going to use data, this name, variable name, object variable name, data dot get method we are going to use, simple get, and then index value I want to check, right? So index 0 will be your full name, right? Because see, here data is storing in the form of index, so this will be index 0, this will be index 1, right? This will be index 0, this will be index 1, right? And this is the row 0, right? So let's fetch the data. So for first full name will be index 0, right? Because the index 0, index 1, index 2, like this will go, right? So index 0 will be my key. So I want to enter index 0. So simple index 0 dot column 0, right? So get 0, get index 0, like this. I want to enter first my key, then what I am going to use? Simple, just copy paste here this send keys dot, then we need to use data, then dot this is the object name, right? List of string, this will store the variable in the form of data, this variable name I gave here. So using this I am getting the data from the feature file, right? So firstly the row was 0 and the element was the column was 0. Now row will be 0 and column will be 1, right? So I mean this will be the data dot get 0 and this will be the data dot get 0. Instead of 0 we need to mention 1, right? Because the column will be 1, right? this one is 0, this one is 1, right? So 0 row first column, 0 column, 0 row first column, right? Like this will happen, right? So see, right now I did enter two data from feature file. First one is from 0 index, 0 row 0 column, and the second one is 0 row first column, right? So I did enter data. Then we are going to again add the same step, right? But the value will be different. So let's see, I'm going to copy paste here, just copy the sentence statement here. So here using and annotation, right? So just we need to change the when to and, at the rate and annotation I'm going to use. Then what I'm going to use, I'm going to give the syntax like this. The statement I'm going to give here, the same statement I will add here. Just use dollar. So I'm going to create the method with the same name, right? Current steps name, simple like this. And see here, then we are going to use what, we are going to use data table. So simple remove this part only, and see I did declare a data table variable here dt, right? Then we created then what we need to do, simple we need to initialize the data table variable using raw method. So raw dot raw, and this will return list of string. So we are returning list of string, right? So see, list then string, list of string, and this will store the value in the form of this variable data. List in the form of list, this will store inside the data, right? So what we need to do, we need to enter the data, right? Simple, I am going to first fetch the field here. So once you click on this field, see id will be current address. So simple, just do one thing, simple, what we need to do, driver dot find element by dot id, right? By dot id, then we need to give the id here, right? 1 second, like this. Then what we need to use, dot send keys I want to use because I want to enter the data. Then using send keys I will use get data 2, I will mention data 2. Then data 2 dot get index 0, and then index 0, and then again we are going to mention index 0. Get 0, then dot get, this will be 0 index 0 column, right? 0 row 0 column, like this. We are fetching the data from this dot, okay, this one, this, okay. So we are fetching data from this will be 0 index 0 column, and this will be 0 index 1 column, right? Then the second will be this. So I am going to copy from here, and just 1 second, copy this line, then paste it again the same line. Then here what we are going to 0 in 0 row first column, right? Permanent address, okay. We did added these two field data also, right? So I am going to copy this step definition here, control X. Then after this I am going to mention, so you will understand, like first this statement was given, then this statement, then this statement, right? So we followed all the things. Then user click, we are going to use then method annotation, sorry, then, okay. So this will be import, we need to import from Cucumber, right? Okay, from here, right? Just copy paste and store. Then what we need to do, we entered two data, right? Then we want to click on the submit button, right? So how we are going to click, simple, we already used this XPath to fetch the element. right? We need to fetch this button, right? Submit. So simple, just inspect this button. See, the tag name is button and the id is submit. So I did created one XPath for this. Tag name is button, id is submit, right? Then we are performing the click method, click operation, right? Then I am going to close the driver. So see guys, here I mentioned, when you are using data table, there is no need to initialize the parameter. Just use data table and give the dt, like any name you can give as a variable name, right? Here we are going to give the variable name. Then what we are going to do, we need to initialize using raw method, right? raw, we are going to initialize here using the same variable. We are going to use raw method, right? And raw method will return the string of list of string. This value raw method is going to return. So we stored inside this and we give the name as a data2, right? Then what we are going to do, you need to do nothing, just copy the this data2 and get, using this you need to use this get method. So dot get means 0 index 0 row, 0 column. Then the second will be 0 index 1 column, like this. So this part is done. We did enter the data for the all the both lines, right? Then we are going to save this. Once you save this, just do one thing. Okay, inside this I am going to save the step definition for login. Okay, we are going to use login table, data table, sorry, data table step definition, no? Step definition, right? I just mentioned here, and I'm going to change the name here. So login table, data table. So I'm going to feature name, give the feature name as like this. I did enter this login data table name, right? Then what I want to do, I want to execute this feature file. So let's see what happen when we run this feature file, right? So right click, run as Cucumber feature, simple. I did clicked on this. So see what happened, duplicate step definition, sorry. So I think we, okay, see. So guys, I already used this step definition, right? And this step definition, that's why it's showing duplicate. So what we are going to do, I'm going to just change little bit in the sentence so there will be no duplicate, right? User is on already, user is already on main page, right? So I'm going to give the name like this. So just copy this and paste it here, right? Done. This part is done. The second part is when user enters full name and email. So I'm going to copy this, and using in the second annotation I'm going to mention like this. Done. This is done, because there is a step definition, duplication of step definition. So we are removing the duplicate part, we entered the updated part. So enter, I'm going to remove this, enter email, full name and email. So I'm going to simple here using the same, enter full name and email like this, and just save. Then what the third step is new, so there is no need to change. Fourth step is then click on submit button, then user click on submit button, then user click on submit button. This line I want to mention, so I will copy this, and in the last statement I will mention the user click on submit button like this. After that just save this, and I'm going to save here too. Once I will save and just run the feature file again, right click, run as Cucumber feature. I did like this. Okay, so yeah, application login feature started. See, browser open, this will open, yeah, load, the website loaded. 1 second, this will give take few seconds, then the website will fully loaded. Then you can see the input value inside the input box, like the full name. See guys, here 23 Main Street and lane 1. Okay, one thing we did something wrong here. Wait. Scenario 1 passed, step 4 passed. Like all the 4 step was for passed. But what we are missing here? See. Okay. See in the feature. Sorry guys, I forgot to mention here. I did give the ID for the current address, but I did not added the ID for the permanent address. That's why we are seeing the same value inside both box, right? So do one thing, just inspect the second permanent address also and select the ID here. So ID is permanent address. I'm going to copy here and going to paste it here. So once you will paste, then the correct data will be stored inside this, right? So just select this. There is nothing to need to change. Everything is fine. Let's run the feature file again. Right click, run as feature file. Okay. So yeah, see here, browser open, website launched, and this will take few seconds to load fully. Then you will see the data. Full name, email, current address, permanent address, and then click on submit. So see, it's loading. That's why it's not see here. We added both all the data, my ABCD. Then click on submit. So see, one step is passed, scenario is passed, right? And 4 step is passed. So 4 step was this. All the 4 steps. One step is this. One step is this. Then second is this, then third is this, and the fourth is this, because third step's data will be here and the second step data will be here. We need to mention the data using pi exactly in the below. If you want to give the data in the second line, you need to mention the data using pi inside this line. Give the data, right? So like this we need to mention. If you are not using scenario outline or you are not using example keyword and you want to achieve data driven testing, so this is the one way we can achieve the data driven testing using data tables. And there is another way also to achieve data table, because this pattern is a good way, because if someone else want to check your feature file, so they are not going to understand what is the meaning of this and what is the meaning of this, because we are not highlighting anything. We just mention the sentence here and we are not mentioning like this is the full name or this is the email address, nothing. So no one will understand what is the data for this data is belong to which part and which column, right? So this is not the good approach, but we can use if you want to enter test the any feature with the singles data. You can use this way. Like one thing we can understand, like below this data belong to the above line. This is the correct. If anyone mentioned like this way using pi data, so you can know like this data belong to the above line, not the below, above one. So this is one thing you clear. So see, this thing is clear, right? If data is mentioned using pi, nothing is there, nothing column name or nothing, just only the data. So you need to consider that this data belong to the above line. This is the one thing you need to show. This is the correct way, right? And we use this approach when we want to enter the data in a single statement. Like we don't want to test the data multiple test data. We want to test only single time and we want to give some data in a single attempt only. Then you can use this approach. There is nothing wrong. You can use a data table. But if you want to give multiple data and you want to be specific, like which data is belong to which column, and you want to show in the feature file, so you need to use another approach. I will create one tutorial for this also, so don't worry. This tutorial is all about the data table. then we will create the one approach where, right, we are going to use maps. Using map we can uh, get the data also, right, in the form of key and value, right. So I will show you, but first we need to complete this tutorial, then I will create another tutorial for regarding maps and how we are going to achieve data driven testing using maps, and how we are going to initialize, how we are going to write our feature file when we are using maps, right. So this is done, but this is the way we use data table, right. So nothing is there, just write the sentence, like write the English statement, then just pass the data using pi, right. We need to use pi. Then always remember this data is in the form of list. So this will start in the from index value will be 0, the first value will be 0, then this will be first index, then if there is another data this will be second index, like this, 0 1 2 3, like this. And if someone want to know which column is this, simple 0 1, one column is this, second column is this, third column is this, and the row will be first. This is the one row, right. This is the way, 0 1 2 3, this is the index form. So if you want to get the data, you need to use index. Like if you want, I want to check full name, I will use 0 index, 0 row 0 column, right. From here 0 row and from here 0 column, right. So this will be the 0 index and this will be the first index, right. So this is the correct way, right. So after that what we need to do, what we need to just do nothing. You need to mention the same statement here, nothing you don't need to use any regular expression, just write the statement using this format, right. Then what we need to do, we need to give the data table here and we need to give the name here, data table initialize, we need to give the variable name, data table variable name here, dt. Using this we are going to initialize using raw method, okay. We are going to method, and raw method will return the list of string, and this data will store inside the list of string, and I give the name as a data. And using data we will get the data from feature file, like 0 index 0 column, right. 0 row 0 column will be first data, 0 row 1 column will be second data, right. You understand? This is the approach to get the data from feature file, and we are not using any scenario or scenario outline. So this is the guys main difference. If you say, if some interviewer asks how you are going to achieve data driven testing without scenario outline, so simple, you can say we can use data table or maps. I will explain maps later, but you can say data table. Using data table we can achieve the data driven testing because we can pass the data inside the feature file using pi, and then we can achieve the data driven testing. We can use this data in the step definition, right, and we can give the input like this. So this is the difference. And if you are using simple scenario, then you can give the data like using double quote. There is another option also, but if you want to give the data like this in that way, you can use data table, right. So simple, nothing you need to learn. Just one, when you start learning now, this is very easy. Cucumber is very easy, nothing you need to do, nothing you need to worry, because you are just writing the step in the English format. Nothing you are doing, you need to write the sentence like simple English sentence. We are doing, just need to use jerkin keyword like given, when, then, and we can pass the data like this, and simple you can create the step definition. Nothing wrong, guys. So this is the good approach, but not the good, like I explained data table part. If you want to test the data in the single unit, then you can use data table, and if you want to test the multiple data, then you can use maps or scenario outline using example keyword you can use. So this is the difference, guys. So thank you so much, guys, for watching this tutorial, and please like and subscribe to my channel, so you will get the update of all the coming tutorials, because I will create all the tutorial related to Cucumber, and then for TestNG, then Java, everything I will cover one by one. So please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so you will get the notification. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much guys. Bye bye. Take care.